High Scrollers is produced on Gadigal land.
We pay our respects to the traditional custodians of this country and elders past and present.
Always was, always will be Aboriginal land.
Well, kids. Welcome. Happy Friday. What are you scrunching your face up at? What's going on in your world?
Oh, just the girls from work messaging me.
Oh, she hates you. She hates you. Well, in the main episode this week, we had one of those weeks again where we just spoke too much and didn't actually get to any main topics.
Yeah.
Which we seem to do a lot.
I know. I feel like it's funny because when we first started High Scrollers, and Scrollers, if you want to do like a little bit of a trip down memory lane, you should go back. It's quite embarrassing, but you should go back and listen to our first couple of main episodes. Well, actually, when we first started, all we had was main episodes. There was no close friends. If you go listen to the first few, it was like we were obviously new to working with Nova. They were getting to know us. And I feel like we were so like topic focused, and we were like in every episode, sorry, I just burped. But we were like had to make sure we like, I don't know. It was just so different back then, don't you think? And now like Nova really trusts that we know what we're doing and that we can talk about ourselves for most of the time. And people will love it. But we still obviously want to cover topics. I can see Hannah's doing a funny smile. So you wanted to talk about this book.
BookTok drama, doll. BookTok drama. I don't know if everyone's across this or not. Like, I don't know whether this is like a niche little thing that not everyone knows about.
I've seen it. I've seen a few videos.
Okay. So basically
Oh, sorry.
Heidi Montag.
Yeah. Did you see she's doing like concerts and shit?
Yeah, I know. Well, it's Pride season.
Okay.
So she's doing all the gay
concerts.
Yeah.
So who is this guy that we're talking about today?
So Luke Bateman. His username is Luke's Reads, and he is originally a former NRL player, apparently. I don't know.
See, I've never seen this guy before besides on these TikToks. And also, he looks like Shrek when Shrek turns into a human.
Yeah.
Don't you reckon?
A few people have said that.
Literally.
He was also The Bachelor in 2023.
What?
Or one of the Bachelors. I'm pretty sure there were maybe a couple of Bachelors that year.
Bachelor.
And he was one of them.
Was he?
Yeah, I don't remember. I'm sure I watched that season. Can you show me the
is it the season with the 3 bachelors?
Yeah. Okay.
I'd never watched that.
I didn't watch that one. I watched the other one. There was another season where they had 3 as well, and I watched that one with one of them's name was Thomas, and I can't remember the other ones. But anyway, the point of the fact of the matter is he's definitely had like a bit of a public following before he made his debut into BookTok. But 22nd of April, his first video went up.
Yep.
On TikTok. It now has over 2 million views. He literally got like 100,000 followers in less than a week. And he makes this video. We could play a little bit of it now.
All right, my first ever TikTok video. I'm excited. I've just been introduced to the BookTok community by my friends Gracie and Carter. Shout out Gracie and Carter. Love books my entire life. Love fantasy. Fantasy is my main go-to. Love of all things fantasy. I've never really had anywhere to talk about it or share those things because obviously being a male in a lot of blue-collar work and from the country, not a lot of emotional depth.
All right, shut it off. We're done. But, he came on with that. Now, he looks gorgeous. He's rugged. He's in a tractor
looks like
or something.
Shrek when Shrek turns into a person.
He's on a fucking farm or something. I feel right up Hannah's alley.
Yeah, Hannah, what are you thinking? Like, she's nodding her head.
Yeah,
this is the guy that she likes.
She would. Anyway, the point is, that's obviously taken off. I've commented on the video and all.
Yeah, I can see your comment. I'm reading some of the...
We're on,
So
girls.
this is literally just from April that he's posted his first video. Blue-eyed Kayla Jade said, welcome. Another person said, I now identify as a book. You said, oh, we're on here, girls. Another person said, oh, the TikTok girlies are going to love this. Another person said, are we all in love with him or just me? Another person said, standing ovulation or whatever it's called.
What? Oh, standing ovulation. That's fucking incredible. I love that. So,
someone said, do you do weddings as like the groom?
Oh, yeah. It was funny.
Oh,
it was
someone
funny.
said, this made my whole week, but HOLE.
Oh, God. So, yes, BookTok went a bit feral for him, and understandably so. Like, there's not really a man like him on BookTok. BookTok is a space that is very much queer and women and queer people, for the most part, are on BookTok. And so him coming on, cracking 100,000 followers in like a week was there was a reaction of obviously a lot of people being like, oh my God, this is so exciting. And a lot of people also being like, I've been doing BookTok for 5 years and I can't even crack 10,000 followers. And, you know, I put my heart and soul into this. But of course, a straight white man who's conventionally attractive comes on and suddenly has all the success in the world. So it was a little bit of like not too much backlash, but a little bit. So that was the 22nd of April he first uploaded that. Then a week ago, so literally like, let's say just over a month after he started the BookTok account, he's then announced a 2-book deal with Simon & Schuster's publisher Atria Books. Which
so
is like,
how does this happen so quickly?
Well, this is the mystery that the internet is currently trying to, and this is what has sent BookTok into a spiral, is because this doesn't just happen this quickly and without, you know, what people are saying is, first of all, he's been handed a 2-book deal by a huge publisher, but he says in the video he can't wait to write the book. He hasn't written the book. He hasn't sent a manuscript. He's sent them a floating idea, evidently, allegedly, from what people have gathered from the book. From the video, is that the book doesn't exist, and he's scored a 2-book deal. So he's given them the concept. He's gone, hey guys, this is what I'd like to do. And they've gone, that sounds great, sign us up, probably because of the success on BookTok, etc. But, you know, obviously there are just so many authors out there, especially, as I said, queer women, people of colour, who are constantly writing books, have always wanted to be authors, have full books written and ready to be published, but no one will give them a chance. And this straight white man has walked into the space that is usually occupied by those people and has been given a deal that most of them would only dream of. Granted, a lot of people have been defending him, saying he was an excellent NRL player and a ex-bachelor, so he's already had a public profile. Fair enough if this was a memoir or this was like a self-help or like
the fact that he's just going to write like a full-on
fantasy.
Yeah.
Okay, so fantasy is like the most critical and or criticized and the most intricate and the most, you know, because fantasy is like, you know, a romance book is a romance book is a romance book, you know.
Yeah.
Where are they going? How have they met? They fall in love. What happens next? Do they get married? Like, it's very much the same story but written 100 different ways. Whereas with fantasy it does get the option to be so intricate and so something no one has ever heard of before. And like, you know, these days with fantasy, you do see people comparing things like the Fourth Wing series to perhaps a Harry Potter or, you know, Hunger Games and taking inspiration from other places. I can understand why BookTok is in shambles over this man getting this 2-book deal. He then also followed up on the morning show or something and said something silly like there's no barrier to reading and writing, which again is such a straight white man response.
It's easy for him to say if he's been just handed this opportunity.
Exactly, but he's like, there's no barrier to, he goes, if you can pick up a book or you can pick up a pen, like if you can pick up a book, you can read, and if you can pick up a pen, you can write a book. In what fucking world? Like, maybe here in Australia where you've been brought up in a good family who's sent you to school. Like, do you know what I mean? There's kids that don't know how to read and write until whatever year they're in. There are people in other countries who don't know how to read and write and will never learn, you know? So like that response obviously set a lot of people off as well. You know, and it's funny because I also Dancing Queen, the whole thing about Dancing Queen was no one would publish my memoir, so I had to take it on the road. And I think it's just really funny that like within the space of a month he's been able to secure this deal, and I can understand why everybody is so frustrated and upset, and it's gone worldwide because BookTok is such a... Remember before I was reading, I went, how is Dimmicks and QBD, how are they still in business? Who's reading books? No one's reading books. And then once you discover BookTok, you're like, oh my God, like everyone's reading. No wonder these companies are thriving. So it's made headlines worldwide. Everyone is rightfully pissed about it. Mm-hmm. And I don't really know what is going to happen here. I don't know. I mean, I'm not really much of a fantasy reader either, so I don't know whether I'll read Luke's books. We are friends on TikTok. So maybe he might send me an arc. I'd like that. I'll give it a read, let everyone know my opinions and thoughts.
Well, I've seen people also like saying not nice things about him online, about things that he's done.
Oh, really? Like what?
I don't know specifics because I've just seen them and kind of scrolled past, but like women coming out of the woodwork saying that like he has been part of like bad behaviours in relationships.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
I haven't seen much of that.
Then they're also saying that he's like, this is an industry plant.
Oh, okay. So that I can see.
Yeah.
That I can see. Okay, so that's actually where we wanted to land with this. Is basically that if you want to think about it, think critically about it. I think the BookTok, in my opinion, was created because this book deal may have already been
in the works.
Maybe not already in the works because I don't see them giving him a 2-book deal without the BookTok following, but I think he's maybe been trying to get this off the ground and it hasn't worked. So he's done this to get something under his belt, like even him thinking maybe I'll get 10,000 followers and that'll still look better than 0. Mm-hmm. But then to get the success that he's gotten, it's just kind of worked in his favor, and it's like it was all now a ploy to, and I mean, who can really tell at the end of the day? We don't know. We're just hypothesizing here. But yeah, I'm thinking like, isn't it convenient? And I would want to, that video we played of his where he goes, oh, my friends so-and-so and so-and-so told me to get on BookTok. I've never heard of BookTok. I don't know. This is my first introduction to BookTok. I'm thinking, who are they? Is that your management? You never said they were your friends. Is that your management telling you, get on BookTok? Because managers will do that for talent. They'll go, you need to be on this app. You need to be saying this. You need to be doing this if you want to build a public profile there. So it's entirely possible, and not saying this is what happened, but it's entirely possible that this whole thing has been a ruse from the start to get this book deal. It's just bizarre that it's fantasy. He seems to have been handed it after 4 weeks. That's crazy to me. With no manuscript, no real fleshed out, I don't know if there's a fleshed out plot or anything. He speaks as if he hasn't written it yet and he's excited to write it and go on the journey of writing it.
Yeah, I'm just in like one of his other videos now. The comments are all very mixed.
Yeah, some people are very supportive.
Yeah.
And other people are like...
People like, the amount of jealousy in this community is shocking me. Happy for your success. For those who don't, another comment, for those who don't see the problem with this, you are part of the problem.
Which I think that it's less his fault, more the publisher's fault. I would argue that Atria Books are the ones at fault here, not him. Any of us would take that deal if it was handed to us. It'd be stupid to say no. I get it. I get that he has been put in this position and given this opportunity, whether it is because he's a straight white man or not, whatever. But the point is, he's been given the opportunity. I don't think it's wrong of him to accept that and go on that journey, but it is a bit of an eye roll towards the publishers, Atria Books, to be handing it out so willy-nilly.
I think it just shows that like followers are everything. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter if someone's written 10 books and been writing for 15 years. Mm-hmm. If a guy can just have hundreds of thousands of followers and say that he loves reading books, he can get a deal.
But that's crazy, don't you reckon?
Yes, it is.
And then that makes me also think, I mean, we've all spoken so much, especially you, I feel, your whole career, have spoken about the fact that influencers are a dying art, influencers are going to die off, they're going to die off, they're going to die off. And you think that's happening.
But then it's not.
But then something like this happens and goes, again, it's just proof that followers mean everything. Mm-hmm. And that's all anyone cares about at the end of the day. So I don't know. How do I feel about it? Couldn't give a shit, if I'm honest. Fantasy is not my favorite genre. Will I be rushing out to read Luke's book when it drops? Probably not, but also in the same respect, like I might, just because people are going to want to know what I think about it. As I said, we're friends on TikTok. If he wants to send me an arc, feel free.
But then it makes me wonder, like, does he know how to write a book, especially like a fantasy book?
Oh, well, here's the other thing. He's in the tractor all day, and I'm sure he also reads books, but he made a video about ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses, which is a big BookTok book. And he revealed that he was listening to it in the tractor. Now, there's a big divide on BookTok in terms of, are audiobooks real books?
I think they're podcasts.
So that's like the vibe. It's like it's a podcast. But if you've listened to the whole book, you know, can you say I read the book? Because it's a whole thing on, like, you know, obviously it's an accessibility thing. So people who are blind can still enjoy the same type of media, and it's inclusive. Audiobooks are inclusive. So we want to use inclusive language and say, yes, if you're listening to audiobooks, you can also say that you've read. But I do think that it is okay to acknowledge that they are different mediums and different things. And it is way easier to listen to an audiobook than it is to read.
Yes.
Because him sitting in the tractor listening to ACOTAR while he works all day, I'm going, babes, that's not reading, in the sense that it's not sitting down and reading page by page by page.
You can just put it on 1.5 speed. You can get through it a lot quicker.
Exactly. So I'm like, I totally get that, you know, if you can only listen to audiobooks, or you choose to listen to audiobooks, I'm on the same page that means, you know, you've read the book. Yeah, sure. But I think it's also important to acknowledge they're totally different things. And so that was also a bit of an eye roll. There's just been a lot of controversy with this guy since he's
I'm interested to see where it goes.
Me too. And who knows where it goes, but we might keep you updated. Who knows?
Surely, Matt, when the book comes out, you're going to get the book. You're going to do videos about it because they're going to go viral. You're going to milk his views.
You reckon?
Yeah.
I better. Yeah. You know
I'd do the same if I was you.
You know what? All right, then. Well, let's start a content plan. Actually, we should probably go and do that. I'm going to start a content plan.
You can be the industry plant for us getting views out of his book. Because that's what everyone's going to be doing too.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to go and sort that out. So I'll see you next Tuesday.